in yes, Sparooms, here in 3, 2, 1, Tetris, and here it is. Okay, perfect. So we can see both players starting, both players looking like having the same pieces, so that's perfect. And welcome in the chat to Anjing. So yeah, today we have 5 matches, and this is the start. 18, so we can expect the players to play pretty aggressive here, like 600k transitions into 19 definitely are reasonable for routers. We can already see them starting off quite nicely here. Both players got the first 2, now 3 Tetrises without a single burn. So in that regards, nice start here for these 2 players. And we can see Peek now getting 1 more pushdown point than Neco, so we have 6 and 7 pushdown points. So technically the lead is in favor of PK, but I mean it's a 1-point lead. Now we can see that a few burns have also happened. So no longer 100% Tetris rate, it's 86 and 92. Peek having played a few lines less than Neco. Yeah, seeing this kind of makes you wonder if you will ever get a perfect comp game. Like we had one non-perfect comp game. But in comp, that's going to be so seed dependent because you have the SPS and everything like that. Would be interesting to know if that's even possible, I mean. Yeah, point was you can see both players being neck and neck. PK played 2 more lines, now Neco played 2 more lines, and the 2 more lines turn into Tetris, which takes the lead in favor of Neco. But if PK can get a Tetris in that at the same amount of lines, basically, then would put him in favor. Yeah, it's neck and neck. 281, 259, less than a Tetris difference. Slight misappear by PK, wasn't able to tuck the blue Z piece underneath, so has to do a bit of cleanup, which means Neco should be able to get a nice lead in now. Yeah, we can already see 2.5 Tetris lead here now to Neco, whereas PK is playing kind of high and needs to burn a few lines here. Could have tried to go for the dirty, instead decided to play a bit clean, or like trying to get clean at least, and is now potentially setting up for the dirty. Yeah, he is waiting for the bar, but of course the bar takes a bit of time. But here it is, so Tetris for PK open once again, and we can see 4.2 Tetris, or about 100k lead here, in favor of Neco. After about 89, so about 2/3 of level 18. So currently, a bit of a tougher situation. The 4 to 5 Tetrises mean that in this level at least, PK would have to get about 20 lines worth of Tetrises more than Neco, potentially up to 24. Something like that, yeah. It's a nice situation here in game number 1 for Neco, definitely. Next Tetris going to PK, and also one to Neco, so 510, 415. Neco definitely could get the first 600k transition of the day in. That's depend a tiny bit on the long bars, of course, but I mean, at this point, doesn't even need 50k, gets the double tuck, nice. Also a bit of tugging here on PK side, who once again has his well closed. Gonna force him to burn a few more lines and get in a bit of an ugly stack. Workable stack, but not the kindest. Ooh, and we can see, yeah, one more tuck here for PK. but a few jar dependencies, covered one, turning it into a bar dependency, which is now closed. Error bar dependency on the left side now for PK, and the bar of course isn't coming. There's a route of both pieces here kind of happening. But yeah, he's solving it without using the bar. And next set is going to Neco. Neco now at 630 versus 480 here for PK. So 150k lead or over 6 Tetris lead here to Neco. Really tough position here now for PK. Means that he has to catch up quite a lot on level 19 and potentially even 29 speeds. Next set was to both players. 680, 530 transitions here. So nearly a 700k transition for Neco. Some of the highest that you can realistically hope for. Yeah, you can see the Tetris right here. 88 versus 63%. Just a massively efficient game here by Neco. The 19 also is looking clean here for these players, exactly what we expect. Tetris going to PK, Tetris going to Neco. And nice spin here for PK. Whereas on the left side, yeah, simply building up, not going for anything fancy currently, Neco that is. Just playing pretty clean Tetris, not hyper aggressive, not hyper safe. Avoiding dirty situations. Whereas PK just got out of another one. I mean, positively, currently Neco isn't, yeah, as I said, playing hyper aggressive, so the lead stays kinda consistent in terms of the Tetris difference at least. It's now up to about a 200k lead here for Neco, and Neco could get a max out in the next Tetris, by the way, on level 24. Level 24 max out possible here for Neco, and level 24 max out for Neco just happened. Huge GG's here to Neco for this early max out. Yeah, this simply shows how amazing of a player Neco is. To get this early from the max out, you need to be in a good condition in terms of your own skill and what the game does give you. That also does apply, of course. And Simul Tetris, already a 1.1 here on level 26. I mean, 1.2 is now easily possible here for Neco into level 29. Both players now in a nice and clean board. And you can see the board counter ticking here at about 20 pieces now. Both players waiting for the bar. Neco being a bit higher, needs to take some safety burns here soon, yet does take them, and Tetris for Neco into one more. So 1.2 against 1, so 200k roughly lead here still for Neco. Next Tetris is happening. Neco gonna transition in one more. Let's see if, okay, he wants the final Tetris to transition with, and we can see, waiting for it, getting it. 1.299, so barely out of the 1.3. PK also transitioned at 1.1, but is in a both players squad for some situations, which means both players top out. And game number one does go to Neco. Countdown here once again. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And we can see Pika here going for quite a lot of pushdown. 55 pushdown points. Normally you only see players push down like the first piece and that's it. But Pk went for much more, which can definitely work out. Yeah, and went for even more. And now Neco also getting a bit of pushdown. Also a Witz is fulfilled here for Neco, 49 against 73, and one more Tetris here going to Neco once again. Of course, if you like what you saw in the last game and you want to support these players, then feel free to check out the match arena. As you can see in the bottom right, we're currently at about $1,000 US. And the prize pool does go to the top players. So basically the top of Division 1. We are getting close to beating last season's prize pool here. Only about $40 left to go, so nearly achieved. And thanks for the wait to Austin. Currently here one Tetris lead here for Pk. So a slightly better start here for Pk than for Neco. And definitely much better situation than last game. There was such a strong showing here of Neco in the last game that I would believe it if Pk is now in a bit of a mental situation. But realistically, these players shouldn't be. They have a lot of combat experience and definitely know how to handle these situations. Basically just play clean, play aggressive as Pk is doing here. A bit over Tetris lead here at about the halfway point. Next Tetris going to Neco. And to be fair, the same lines, the lead is nearly gone as we can see. Now it's down to just a few thousand points. Next Tetris going to Pk. So the point lead is in favor of Pk, but the pace lead. Yes, neck and neck. Ooh, and nice Witz here for Neco, going for a 4-high Witz here. Which means he's needing one more bar, does get the bar, perfect for the Tetris. And now the pace lead appears to be in favor of Neco potentially. Okay, Neco needed to burn a few lines here. But he has 359, 331, same amount of lines played. Definitely not the pace in favor of Neco here. But still, it's close. Neco now having the point lead for a bit. Close level 18 here. Both players showing us as many Tetrises as they can. At about 80% Tetris rate here. Next Tetris going to Pk. And also one more here to Neco. Yeah, 451, 451. Half a single difference here between these two players. And Pk now wanting the J piece for attack. Does instead get the S piece for spin. And is getting the next Tetris. Bar dependency on Neco side also filled in. So yeah, 19 transition is coming up soon, and to me it looks like the 19 transition is going to be high scoring once again. Next Tetris to Pk. Nice tuck. Yeah, both players could go for about 3 more Tetrises now. Let's see if they will be able to, or if the, at least to me, more realistic scenario will happen, that there's going to be like a single that they need to burn. But yeah, let's see. Neco is getting the bar. Nice. Tetris. Pk is getting the spin and a small burn here. Next Tetris to Neco. Neco transitioning at 619. Pk at 616. And transitioning at basically a Tetris lead here. 640, 643 now. But Pk played a few lines less than Neco has, which is why he has at least the pace lead. The point lead actually is in favor of Neco, as Neco at that point played like, yeah, 8 lines more, so 2 Tetrises in that regards. Next Tetris, you're going to Neco. PK gets out of the small drought here using a Tetris, and one more Tetris here going to PK once again. Setting up is set up and getting the bar. Nice. So does Neco. But yeah, this game is really close. Like, both players are about the 80% Tetris rate. And in terms of points, there's like half a Tetris difference between these two players. PK needs to burn a few lines now. Okay, Neco just closed the world. Also needs to burn 2 lines here. Exactly 2 lines. But yeah, if PK needs to burn a few lines at some point that Neco doesn't have to, then Neco is gonna be ahead of PK. Neck and neck. Exactly what we love to see. In pace, it's a 1.5 Tetris lead here for PK, to be fair. But in points, it's definitely not. Next Tetris going to PK. Now it's half a Tetris lead for him. And next Tetris going to Neco. So lead is back for him once again. 1 more to Neco now. 1 more to PK. And we can see PK's Tetris rate slowly but surely decreasing here, whereas Neco's is increasing. And the Tetrises are worth more here on the higher levels. The amount of points you get is multiplied by the level that you are on. So Neco performing a bit better here on level 19 is going to be nice in the long run. We can now see a 2.5 Tetris lead, having played about 2.5 Tetrises more in lines. 2 Tetris here going to PK, 1 to Neco. Max out for both players. Neco closer to the 1.1 here and getting the 1.1 to Neco. So 1.2 transition would once again be possible here for Neco, just how it was in the last game, where he was less than 1,000 points off the 1.3 and transition at least. PK could also get the 1.2 here, of course. It does depend on the last few lines here. Neco is basically guaranteed. Yeah, he is getting the bar, so he's now at 1.2, whereas PK is still needing... He doesn't need a Tetris, but he of course wants to get one. And the bar should be here. Yeah, here's the bar. 1.268 transition for Neco. And PK is gonna transition at basically the same score here. So both players will have to perform quite well on level 29 if they want to achieve something. Yeah, we can see 1.291 for PK. About half a Tetris difference in the transition. And Neco is going for Tetrises here on level 29, which puts pressure on PK, as PK now also needs to go for Tetrises. Otherwise, Neco will most likely be able to take, but Neco is getting quite high. He does get the bar over. Bar over for Neco is getting a bit low in the stack after this burn. He needs something for the left side. Does get a single over to the left side. Not getting any more burns. So 1.423. So PK, your goal is 1 million, yeah, 1.43. So about 80k left to go for PK. 80k. Actually, that means PK can line this out, but he doesn't get the bar over. He doesn't get the next bar over as well. And that means that Neco is able to take game 2. Got a few more Tetrises in here on level 29, which secured him the victory. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. I was lifting from the next players. I always like to inform them when the first match point starts, so that they know that they may be up to playing in a few minutes. Let's say like 10 or so if Neco wins this. And Neco already having a bit of an interesting start. Gonna require some good tucks. Yeah, getting L into O, that definitely works. And now a Tetris for Neco. And 1 more 2 PK. So how do I do Nestris again? Goldfish memory. Hopefully you just have to click the link that I sent earlier. I can send it again as well. And it already remembers all of your settings, but it should be self-explanatory, hopefully. Maybe Kingsman or someone can help you. It's kind of tough to do that during a match as the streamer. Yeah, you just click the link, log in. Either it has saved your configuration or you need to calibrate it, basically starting the game and clicking into the black box, like black parts of your game. And that should hopefully do the trick. But yeah, here we currently have 183, 182. Kingsman doesn't matter when they join. I have to manually adjust them. At least that's my experience. Yeah, 229, 228, NEK and NEK between these players. And we can see that PK is currently at 100% Tetris rate, whereas Neco isn't, as yet to burn a few lines, and there's a drought filling in the bar dependency. Oh, and perfect Kingsman that it's properly working. I haven't used it before, but yeah, okay, then I can fix it. Worst case scenario, perfect. 253, 274. Neco has to burn a few lines here. Kingsman saying I type players to it because some streamers have auto join on. I never have it because I always expect people to, even if it's just accidentally, join. But yeah, Neco needing to burn a few lines up here, getting one more Tetris in, nice. Trying to stack down a bit maybe. Or like get open at least. Yeah, okay, getting open puts him at such low of a stack that you can just play aggressive on and on. But yeah, PK here. Man, as you can see, 88% Tetris rate on 68 lines. Really, really well played here so far. Getting one more bar into Tetris 374, 351, and one more Tetris here to Neco as well. Neco now wanting a bar for his Witz setup. So in column 9 you can see the 4 high kind of hole thingy. If you put a bar, so the 4 piece, like 4 long piece, that's sort of Witz. And that's what Neco was waiting for. Yeah, he does get it, and Witz has been filled in. Whereas PK here taking a few burns, currently in a bit higher situations, so the lead is now down to, well, actually being in favor of Neco. Having played a few more lines, so in that regards, it's basically a neck and neck scenario here between these two players. As we are getting close to level 19 here in game number 3. It's a bit of a favor here currently point-wise for Neco. But we saw a similar situation the last game where it was the opposite way. So PK had the lead into level 19 and then Neco was able to slowly but surely overtake him. So let's see if this game the same can happen. Just the other way around. So Neco being the one who gets in with the lead and PK then catching up. Let's see. We have about 100k lead here currently for Neco. Or about like 60 to 80 if you take the lines into consideration. Let's see at what. Okay, yeah, now at the same lines. 49. PK wasn't able to play as aggressive as the line difference could have been. Next set was here going to PK. PK now at 478. And Neco transitioning at 619. PK could get the final Tetris and transitions at 526. So about 100k lead in the transition here for Neco. PK getting the Tetris, Neco getting the Tetris, Tetris into level 20 here for Neco. And level 19 has begun, speed has increased by about a third. Next set was here going to PK. PK at 626, 697 here for Neco at the same line, so lead is now down to about 70k here. But of course, Pkric will have to get a few more Tetrises in order to overtake Neco here. Next set is going to Neco, 775 against 710. And one more here going to Pkric. And one more here going to Neco. Yeah, expect this game to go up to level 29 and be decided on 29 once again. But now it's down to a neck and neck here, and actually now the lead in favor of Pkric. Neco is kinda high and needs to get one more bar in, as you have 189 lines, so both 840, 860, so about half a Tetris lead here now to Pkric, as you have a bit of a drought here. Here we can see the drought counter working a bit better here on Pkric's side. Next Tetris here going to these players. Neco is set up, Pkric is waiting for the bar, getting the bar, and Tetris 953, 904. So both players definitely in the max out before level 29 range here. One more Tetris going to Pkric. Max out has been achieved here for Neco. Kinda just before the transition and in time to get a 1.1 in. Pkric also getting the max out and potentially getting the 1.1. Let's see how it will go. Wits fulfilled for Pkric into bar and Tetris. Neco is set up. Getting the bar and Tetris can get one more of anything. A single anti-transitions. Let's see if he can get the bar in time. No, he doesn't. 1.12 transition, I believe it was, for Neco. Pkric now wanting one more bar. And he is just before the transition, and here's the bar. So yeah, neck and neck transition here. 1.17, 1.14. So about 25k difference between these two players. Neco, of course, going for the Tetrises here on level 29, whereas Pkric probably is gonna try to play a bit safer here. But depending on how long Neco stays in and how many Tetrises he can get. Oh, but Pkric just got the next Tetris. Neco wasn't able to tuck anything under, so now the small hole in the stack that he needs to fix has opened it up, is cleaning a few lines, and is now basically in a position where he can play cleanly on a Tetris once again. So is Pkric. Point-wise, it's now let's just say 315 to 87. So still about the 25k or half a Tetris lead here in favor of Neco. Neco waiting for the bar. Pkric currently, not setting up quite, burning a few lines as well. Getting the triple in here. 1.4 for Neco at level 34. 1.3 for Pkric here at level 33. So Pkric has spread a few less lines, and Neco might be topping out here. Yeah, doesn't get the OPs over, which means Pkric needs to chase them about 50k. Your goal is 25, 4, 2, 5 in the end. But Pkric also getting kind of high, doesn't get the bar over. And for a second time this match isn't able to fulfill the chase down, which means we have our winner here. And the winner, of course, is Neco. So let's quickly switch over to our winner scene here. GG's to Neco for taking game number 1, match number 1 here of the stream, and in total his 4th match this season.
Beginning of the stream. And we got a raid from Cole. Let's get started with game number 1 of the 3rd match of the event. Best of luck to both players in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Let's see, Square and JLT. Same piece as are confirmed. So, as always, since we're back in Division 1, I guess it's more of a relevant thing to plug in the match Reno. We're currently at $1,000.69. Thank you to contributions from everybody, not just this stream, but throughout the season. And of course, to our top 3 contributors, especially Kathy Simmons, contributing 70% of the prize pool. Literally 70% of the prize pool of the $1,000 goal. So, thanks to that, now we have a shot at potentially reaching $2,000 and getting the top 8 of the playoffs paid out, which would be great. 94,000 points for Redshirt, 34,000 for Coal Bucket. Oh wow, that's Pyre on the right side for Cole. Good lord. That was not fun. Little misdrop there with an L piece. Little double tuck with a second L. Not able to hit a double tuck with a third L. So he's 1 for 2 on L tucks. L double tucks, I mean. Let's get the lumber for Tetris. Now 107. Redshirt at 145. I know we didn't take a look at the standings because I know Cole's on a time crunch, but I can talk about it here in the match, in the stream. Redshirt currently 1-3 with 10 points in 6th place, just 1 spot from the relegation zone. And speaking of which, Cole is the one who's in a relegation playoff spot. Actually, currently auto-relegated with a 0-4 match record, 3 points. So, definitely needs a win to at the very least avoid the auto-relegation spot. Critical Lapis in 7th place with 9 points, 1-5. Has 1 match pending, whereas Cole has 2 after this, so has a bit of an advantage. In the season. 236 for Cole, 282 for Redshirt. Kind of spamming those S pieces to the left side. Wow, and continues to spam them. And another S piece. Wow, getting bursted with S pieces and Z's and all that junk. So 5 taps definitely locked in today for Redshirt. Actually, I don't even think that was a 5 tap. I think, isn't like far left S pieces 4 taps, or is it 5 taps? I can't tell when it comes to flipping. Nice T-tuck there from Cole. Welcome on in, Toast, rating with a party of 3. As Toast would say, your seats are ready at the dinner table. Party of 3, welcome on in. Hope your stream went well. Oh, whoops, I forgot to change the division to Division 1A. There we go, much better. Now we are not clickbaiting or lying to people. Yeah. Cole and Redshirt actually did get relegated down to Division 3. And, yeah, very unfortunate, but who knows, maybe they'll get back into it. 370 for Cole, 483 for Redshirt. Redshirt representing Small Jordan, Cole representing T for dinner. Oh yeah, definitely. For sure. Right now, Redshirt could get a 600k transition, but has no burns available if he wants a 600k. If not, still a high 500k would be on the cards. Oh, but now what's on the cards is that misdrop with the L piece. Kind of like a double Vit setup. Doesn't hit the double tuck. Also, I do know that it just said double VIT setup, as if it wasn't already redundant enough to say VITs. But Retro with a dirty Tetris into transition at 540. 486 for Cole. Has one Tetris left he can score before the 19 speeds. But we'll transition with a triple at 493. The Vits, yeah. Vertical eye tuck double setup. Oh, once again, another overshift from Redshirt with a Lombard this time. And kind of scrambling to try and burn out of this roof. It is rainy here in Portland. As quickly as possible. Square piece to the left side. Lombard to the right. So he is burning out of this. Is open. Will single there. L piece to the right. Lombard 5 tapping that to the left side. As Cole still with a deficit, but that deficit has shrunk a significant amount, now at 582, as Redshirt is still burning. With this next Tetris, Cole will take the lead, solve that dependency with a Lombard. Redshirt still burning, and Cole will take the lead now at 639, and is also behind in the line count, so it is a real-time score lead, and with a slightly bigger pace advantage than Redshirt. So yeah, Redshirt with great survival here is clean, and Tetris ready, waiting for that Lombard, going for the L tuck, and gets along for a Tetris. Very uncomfortable square pieces. Man, I hate squares. Squares are the worst. All my homies hate squares. If you don't hate squares, it's because you're not a homie. 689 now for Redshirt, needs to survive the situation. It's 758 for Cole. And now Redshirt with a calm 7. Tetris 730. Behind by 90,000 points. Pretty much a 100,000 point deficit, taking into account the line differential. Cole bucket at 8451. Has a potential 1.1 with this efficiency. But high max out definitely on the cards too, with more burns to spare. Redshirt looks like he might get a one-off in the 29 speeds. Right now at 800,000 points at level 27, now 833. Cole with a Lombard dependency getting droughted, but solves that Lombard, gets another Lombard right in time for the Tetris. That could have been very scary. Looks like Cole might have to commit to a row 2. Nice adjustment there with a Lombard to accommodate the second Lombard. And Redshirt is getting inspired in the center with these S pieces, just like in the 18 speeds. Macy saying, we're getting this match done in just 3 minutes, right? Oh yeah, totally. Jesus. Redshirt will transition at 856, 972 for Cole. And Redshirt with the Tetris. Cole might transition with a burn. Yeah, gonna burn the transition at 979, now 980. Lost a bit of pace on Cole's side, but still relatively in the lead by about 80,000 points. Redshirt still alive here at level 30. Tetris ready, gets along for Tetris 945. Cole gets along for it. Doesn't get the Tetris though. Hung that piece. Needs another Lombard. And doesn't get the second Lombard. So Redshirt 989 is the score to beat. Needs 990 to take this game. Needs a 990, but not out of the woods yet. Needs 18,000 more points, and his board is climbing. Hits a 5 tap with the Lombard. Needs 10,000 more points. Nice double there. Now at 983, 995. And that's going to do it for Redshirt, completing the chase down. And we'll take the first game of the set. GG's. Oh no. He choked the max out. No. Oh no. So 300 points away. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Let's see. JS. JS. So same P sets are confirmed. Bull Bucket looking to tie the set. Redshirt looking to get an even bigger lead and potentially take their second win of the season and a little bit further away from the relegation zone. For those of you that want to know our schedule for this upcoming weekend, I don't know why I'm saying upcoming as if it's not this weekend, but tomorrow, after this match actually, we'll be having a Division 2 match between Macy and Tetris Time, but tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be having a 5-match super show with Jacob. First match will be a Division 1B match between Neco and me. Me, Pkric, that is me. Division 3 between Chrissy and Dr. Knockers. Division 2B between Dango and Toby. Division 2A between Firedox and Mel. And then a Division 1A match to finish off the event between Andy and Sodium. Right now, Redshirt at 137. 140 for Cole. Whereas later on that same day and Sunday, before the Sunday primetime show, hosted by Ronkley, it'll be starting off with Doodle versus Oscar. Division 1B afterwards, Blue Scooty versus Hydrant. Then it'll be Alex T versus Redshirt, then Cole versus Cobra, and then finishing off the night between Cobra and Sodium. So yeah, really, really spicy matchups here as we close out Season 31, and we are inching closer and closer into the playoff zone. 232 for Cole Bucket, 230 for Redshirt, so neck and neck between the two players. I don't know about you guys, but I have a good feeling about this season's championship playoffs. I'm kind of sad I missed last season's because I had to work, but I'm confirming right now that I will be hosting the finale for the season. Right now, 298 for Redshirt, 324 for Cole Bucket. Both players have been pretty clean so far, and with this efficiency, pretty safe to assume a potential 600k transition, assuming no funny business. Gonna be lit, says Arbaro. Yeah, I mean, we've already got confirmed that SV, after defeating Hydrant earlier today, will be in the playoffs. Currently 5-0, so I think SV might be our first confirmed player, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he is our first confirmed player. I mean, obviously there's other players like Alex, Andy, and Scooty that are still perfect, but mathematically they're still, you know, a little bit of a chance, you know, like a 0.5% chance that they won't get into the playoffs. Right now, Redshirt with a bit of a slowdown. Still maintained. Nice adjustment there with the JP. So accommodate a slightly dirty Tetris and maintain the stack to be in contention for that 600k transition. Cole with a hole in their stack. Gonna be clean momentarily. Go for a couple of safety burns. Now Lombard dependent could set up a dirty Tetris. Might commit to it. Looks like they are committing. And they will get that llama for a Tetris. Exactly tied these two players were for a second. Now exactly 2 Tetrises in the lead is Cole. Redshirt taking the lead right back. Wow, kind of a weird shift there with the JPs on Redshirt's side, forcing their well to be transferred to Calm 9. Redshirt still potential for a 600k transition. So is Cole. Only 1 Tetris left to go. And they will complete that 600k with 2 Tetrises to spare. And they are Tetris ready. Redshirt Now at 589 after that Tetris. Needs one more Tetris for the 600k. And both players will be getting 600k transitions. So friendly see this 18 by the looks of it. But we'll just see what ends up happening on the 19 speeds. Usually when it happens where things seem to be easy on 18 speeds, just like no long bars show up on the 19 speeds. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But we are neck and neck. 663 for Redshirt, 659 for Cole, taking the lead at level 20. And now Redshirt with a bit of a slowdown. Nice flat double with an L. Sets up a T-spin, hits the Tetris. And we'll get the T-spin. Opens up his right well. Is Tetris ready? Waiting for that long bar. Long bar did not show up in time. So gonna have to get another slowdown as Cole now at 772. Redshirt trying to survive the situation with low and L or J. Goes for a long bar to solve the dependency. Nice double with a T-piece. Flat burn with a J. Long bar dependency. Opens up that right well. Is Tetris ready? Gets the long for Tetris now at 736.